Hi, I'm Debbie with Unforgettable Stamping, and today I'm going to show you how to make this quick and easy masculine card featuring the By the Tide stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so today's card features my favorites, the note card and envelope set, and this time I'm using the crumb cake set. So you get 20 envelopes and 20 pre-scored note cards, and when they're folded up, they are a really nice size. They come folded up to 3.5 by 5. So each one comes with a pre-scored line. So you're just going to fold it like this, and I'm just going to take a bone folder so that my fold is nice and flat, and then I'm just going to set that aside. And next I'm going to show you how I took the back to black designer paper and turned it this pool party color. So if you haven't seen the back to black designer paper, it's really a great set. It's all designs that are in black and white. So you get 6 designs on this side, and then if you flip it over, you've got 6 additional designs. So some of them, lend themselves more to being colored than others, but it's a really nice way to give you a little more versatility. So if you get this designer paper pack this month, during the month of July, there's a buy 3 get 1 free promotion going on. So if you would like this designer paper, you want to take advantage of that sale. So I finished up with this piece, and how I got it from here to here is I used my brayer. So if you take a brayer and you're just going to ink it up, and you want to go in the same direction when you're inking it up, and that way you have an even amount of coverage on your brayer, and you're just going to transfer it again going in the same direction just like that, and it's really that easy to apply the color. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside since it's going to take a little bit to dry, and I have my piece that's already done. Now the next thing I want to do is stamp my panel. So I know that this is going to take up this part of my card, so I'm going to shoot for this side of the paper. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm using the By the Tide stamp set, so I wanted to show that to you. It's a great masculine set. It's also a great set if you're scrapbooking beach pages, but there's the seaweed, the lobster, the seahorse, you have your, I guess it's a trout, I don't know, some kind of fish, a shell, this great script, and then the little Nantucket Oceanside Inn anchor embellishment. So those are the 2 stamps that I'm going to be using today. And, and the seaweed. So the seaweed is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to create my background, and I want it really light. I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm going to stamp off first, and then I'm going to stamp it directly on. And then without re-inking, I'm going to huff on the stamp, and I'm going to re-ink it, or re-moisten the ink, and that way I get a really light background. So that's what I'm going to do that's all you need to do for your background. And now I'm going to do my fish, and I opted to go with Stays on Black. I just really like how dark black this ink is. And so I'm going to do my one fish, and then I'm going to have his little buddy coming in from the side there. And while I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my envelope. Okay. And then I'm going to set that aside. And then the last little thing I need to do for stamping is this little anchor embellishment. So I'm going to just stamp it on a piece of scrap paper. And I can put that away now. Whoops. Okay, so I tried first with my 1-inch circle punch, and it gave a really big outline of white, and I didn't really want that, so I opted to go with my 3/4 inch, and so it's going to cut off a little, the outer circle is going to be gone, but it doesn't really matter. I just wanted that look of the little embellishment. It's really hard for me to embellish masculine cards, so I like either using texture or little embellishments like this. Okay, so now I want to take all of these pieces and I want to age them or distress them a little bit. So I've got my crumb cake ink pad, and I have a little Stampin' sponge that I've cut a little wedge off of, and I like to take a piece of the cardstock of the color that I'm using and I write it on there. Now this one's really, really well loved, and then just staple a little piece on. And the key, I think, to sponging is you want to come off the edge and bring it onto the cardstock. And you want to just do a little bit at a time. You can always add more, but you really can't take it away. So it's always easier to start off light, and you can always go back and add later. Okay, so if you don't really think that that looks like it changed it much, it really does. If you look, this is the one that hasn't been sponged, and this is the one that is. So just a little bit, really, I don't know, I really like the way that looks. Okay, so I've got that piece done. Now I'm going to do my little, this one's a little bit harder because it's small, so I'm just going to roll it around in my fingers and just here we go. And then the last thing I want to do is my card. Now I'm going to have to figure out, okay, so just want to do the edge there. Okay, so there. That's what that's going to look like. And now that I've got everything stamped and sponged, it's ready, time to assemble. So I'm going to take this piece of designer paper. I'm going to use my Tombow, and I'm going to just add that on the edge, just like that. And now, I wanted to add some ribbon, but I didn't want to add really frilly ribbon. And so we have this really nice chevron natural ribbon. Well, if you flip it over, it's plain. And I really like the texture that that adds to the card. So I'm just going to take my tape. Okay, so I'm just going to take it, and I need to tape that over, and my tape is not here. Okay, so I'm just going to take just plain old tape. I'm just going to tape that edge down. Just like that. And then I'm going to add the linen thread. So I want to take the linen thread, and I put 8 inches on my instruction sheet, but it's actually easier to leave it on the spool itself. And so I'm just going to take a piece. Again, I'm going to anchor that down with a piece of tape. I'm going to do that on one side there. And I'm going to crisscross it and bring it up on the other side and come across like that. I'm just going to cut. And bring that over and tape. Okay, so now you've got this crisscross design. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this little embellishment here. So I just used a Stampin' Dimensional, and that's going to go right on the back. And I'm going to put it just below where it crisscrosses, so you can actually see that crisscross effect. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to this piece, but because this is so thick back here, I'm actually going to attach it with dimensionals. Oops. Try that again. Add it with dimensionals. Peel off your little stickers. I'm just going to center it right in the center of this piece of basic black. And then the last thing to do is add it to the front of the card with some Tombow. And there you go, finished card, stamped envelope. Pretty quick and easy. You could certainly make several of these. I left the sentiment off on this card just because I don't know what I'm going to be needing it for later. I can always add something at a later time, or even just write the sentiment on the inside. So I hope you like this card. Give it a try, especially the brayering color onto the back to black designer paper. That's a lot of fun, and it gives you a whole lot of versatility with that paper pad. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to get the project sheet for this card, I sent it to my newsletter subscribers yesterday. If you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter so that you can get them going forward, you can do that on my blog. And if you're seeing this video after that I've already sent it out this week, just send me an email. My contact information is right there, and I'll be happy to send that to you. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.